I always try to look at the brighter side as well. Like every course you take, you're going to learn something, even if it's just one thing. That one thing could change your life or the trajectory of your business. Focus on that one particular thing that you're going to learn in every person you're going to learn from, every course that you take. Take that one thing and it will change your life and your business.
Hey, I'm Becca with the Happy Ever Crafter, and today I'm talking to Mye De Leon, who is walking us through a free lesson on how to do lettering on a curve. This is a really tricky one, and Mye is a really great teacher, so hopefully you enjoy this lesson. Let's jump right in. Mye, welcome back to the show.
Hello, thank you so much for having me back. It's nice to be here again.
Yeah, so for anybody who doesn't know, Mye has been on here before and did an awesome lesson on embellishing letters and everything for us last time. And we had a big, long chat about your history and how you got into this, which is like a really interesting story, by the way, and a really unique story. So everybody should go watch that one first. But for people who haven't seen that one or don't know who you are somehow, can you give us a little rundown of who you are, what you do?
Okay, so I'm Mye De Leon, and I used to be a hand lettering artist. Used to be because I am not accepting client jobs at the moment, but I'm still teaching people how to do hand lettering and how to turn that hobby into a creative business. So in a nutshell, I'm a creative entrepreneur, and I help people turn their hobby into something profitable.
Wow, so quick and easy.
Yeah.
But I think you're downplaying how good you are at hand lettering. Even though you're not doing it right now for health reasons, it's still sometimes I just see some of your work and I'm just like, how did she get that good? And even though you're not doing hand lettering right now, this is still going to be a hand lettering lesson for people.
It is.
Yeah. So just to fill people in, I texted Mye and asked her if she would come back on the show and give us a lesson on another hand lettering technique. Last time she did how to embellish letters, and this time I wanted her to talk about how to do lettering on a curve, because I get a lot of questions about layouts and all of that kind of stuff, and as much as you can figure out how to lay your lettering out, a lot of people still struggle once they actually go to put the lettering in that curve that they plan to draw in. So anyway, I texted Mye to get her to come on and do this, and she's like, well, there's a module in my course on curve lettering, so why don't I just give you that for free? And I was like, yeah, okay. So I'm gonna just stitch that in here for people to watch, and then maybe we'll just come back and talk a little more about it after they've watched the lesson.
Yes, and they're gonna be watching two different types of techniques on how to letter on curves. So okay, I hope they enjoy it.
Welcome back, and this time we're going to draw a word on a curve path. And to do that, we're going to use a compass. When creating a curve using your compass, the narrower the compass is, the deeper the curve. So as much as possible, make it wider so we can get a better curve that isn't too deep, so that our letters won't look too awkward when drawn in it. Keep the needle steady and only move the part with a pencil. And then draw the curve. Maintain the position of the needle and don't move it. Now hold the part with a pencil and adjust it to a position where you can draw the second curve. This top curve is your new cap height. And then the curve at the bottom is going to be your new baseline. This line is going to be your new X height. And the line below it, this is going to be your new mean line. Now that the curve path is ready, we are going to use part of it to draw our word, so just about this size. And we are going to letter the word curve. So considering the word, write it and plan the sketch. The word curve, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 letters. And typically it's easier to have an odd numbered word because you know that the middle letter will be at the middle part of the curve. Let's start by drawing the skeleton, and for this exercise, we'll still keep the letters upright and we'll still use the grids for that. You'll notice that despite the curved shape, the stem will still be vertical stroke, while the rest of the letter parts follow the shape of the curve. When drawing word on a curved path like this, always start in the middle part, because from here, it is easier to draw the other letters on the left side or the right side of the curve. We're done with the letter R, and my letter V will be somewhere around here. Let's draw the skeleton with the first diagonal stroke, and then the vertex. And from there, we'll draw the second diagonal stroke. Next, draw the letter E. The stem will still be a vertical stroke. You can use the grid to make sure of that. The arms, on the other hand, the strokes will be drawn up to this point, and they will follow the shape of the curve. We'll draw the remaining two letters on the left side of the curve next. But before that, let's draw a horizontal line from this point of the letter E to keep the first letter of the word, the letter C, in the same position on the opposite side of the curve. Then, we'll do the same thing for the letter V so we can get the position of the letter U. Now start drawing the skeleton of the letter U. And again, this has a curved stroke at the bottom part of the letter. So make sure that this area has an overshoot. Lastly, draw the skeleton of the letter C. With this particular method, as tedious as it may seem to be, we can get a clearer picture of where to position the letters better to maintain the balance within the word. This is one of the methods that works best when working on a curved path. Now you may notice that the letters are not quite balanced. There is a wider space after the letter C and a little tighter space around the letter R. Looking at it carefully, I've drawn the letter C a bit wider, so is the letter U, and my letters R and V are a bit narrow in comparison. Let's make the necessary adjustments to the letters immediately when we catch it, because curved paths are a little more complicated, so the earlier you catch the issue, the better and less rework you are going to have. We have adjusted the width of the letter U. And next, we have to adjust the width of the letter R. So we'll make it just a little wider so that it looks balanced with the rest of the letters. And then let's make a little adjustment on the letter V as well. Now that we have the skeleton ready, look at it again. You'll see that the letters are still upright while we're following the curved path. Now it's time to add thickness to the letters. Now we're done with the letter thickness. So this is the first method to draw a word on a curved path. Let's draw a curved path again. So position the needle of the compass in the middle of the page and then draw a curve. We'll make this curve a little deeper than the one we used in the previous lesson in order to emphasize the word better. The style of the letter matters depending on how deep the curve is. We're still using the grid guide here, and we are still lettering the word curve, So the letter R is going to be in the middle part of the curve. And as always, begin by drawing the skeleton first. Once we've drawn the letter R, we'll draw the rest of the letters either on the left or right side of the curve. Let's draw a straight line from the point of reference to the edge of the letter R. One on the left, and then one on the right side. And as you can see, this is the space for the letter R. And we are not using the entire space. We'll only use the rectangular portion so that the letters remain in their typical form. Before we proceed any further, let's cut the curve initially by drawing a straight line at the bottom so that we can have a sense of how wide we'll have to draw the word. From the point of reference, draw a straight line up to the curve and position it a little on the left side of the R. This area is the space between the letters R and U. Do the same thing on the right side of the letter R. This technique takes a lot of getting used to, so you may need to practice it more. Now, we have our first letter in position. We have to create a space for the letter U as well. And again, use the point of reference and draw a straight line towards the curve. Now from this area, we'll take the rectangular portion, and this space is where we'll draw the letter U. Once you get the space, draw the skeleton of the letter. While drawing the skeleton, this is also the perfect time to make the necessary adjustments and corrections on the strokes if needed to minimize rework. Then, let's draw another space between the letters U and C. Note that these spaces, they may not be as accurate in every letter because there are different letter shapes. But it's better to set them all up so you can at least have a baseline. Now, we have a space for the letter C. And again, we'll only take the rectangular portion of this space to fit our letter in. Once the space is ready, start drawing the skeleton of the letter C. Again, this is a rounded letter, so pay attention to the overshoot. From the entry stroke, draw the curve up to the cap height and then down to the baseline. And of course, we'll have the finial. Now, if there are any corrections or adjustments needed, address them all immediately during this early stage of the process. Next, we'll work on the letter V. By looking closely into the layout, we can already tell that there's so much negative space between the letters R and V, so we might have to make some adjustments later in the process. But for now, let's finish the entire baseline of our layout and give the letters their own spaces for drawing. For the letter E, it should be aligned with the letter C, so draw a straight line from the point of reference to the intersection of the horizontal line and the bottom curve. The skeleton is basically ready, and as you can see, the letter U has its own perfect space. The R is in the middle, and the width is just about right. The letter V, however, is a little narrow, so what we can do is adjust it a bit because there's still so much space between this and the letter R. So we'll make it wider than what we initially did. The letter E we'll have to adjust and make it a little wider as well, because it's narrow in comparison to the other letters. Let's erase the sketch, and then we'll rework on that point of reference again so we can reduce the space in between the letters E and V. Now that the skeleton is properly laid out, we can clearly see the word. Examine it again and check for other things that needs to be revised. This method, like I said, will require a ton of practice until you get used to it, and you won't need to undergo this tedious process anymore, because you'll be able to pretty much just eyeball everything. We're ready to add thickness to the letter, and then we can finish it with a serif if you prefer. And we're done with the second method of drawing a word on a curved path.
Okay, so once people have watched that, I feel like even just me watching it, seeing it, like you make it look so easy. But like I think a lot of people would see that and be like, okay, I understand how to letter on the curve, but like how the heck did she make it look so easy to like thicken the letters and make them all look so perfect? So what advice, obviously, other than people going to your class, which I'll link to down below, what advice would you have for people who like are just getting started with lettering? Because a lot of my audience is calligraphy based. So if they're just getting started with the lettering part and actually building those types of letters, what would you tell people?
Right, because I used to have this freehand lettering resource that I retire. So would you like to give them as a free resource to those who are subscribed to your newsletter?
Yes. Oh my,
We can give
as
that
if
as
I'm
a
going to say
bonus.
no to that.
We can give that as a bonus to those who subscribe to your newsletter. Okay, so that's also possible.
Yes. Okay, amazing. So I will, every episode I do of this show, there's a blog post. And so I'll link to it down below and we'll embed that in there. That's amazing. Thank you, Mye.
Yes. I have retired that already, and it's not available for anyone. So it's just exclusive to those who are in your community.
I know exactly what freebie you're talking about because I've made you send it to me like 3 times. Every time I sit down to do any sort of like block lettering, I'm like, Mye, I don't know where I put that freebie, but I need it because it's so good. Okay, so perfect. We'll embed that, and I'm sure that will be super helpful for people.
Yeah.
But can you give us a little rundown of what's in your course? Because I've seen it, but I'm not going to be anywhere as good as explaining what's in it as you would be.
So that is basically, I have started with the very basics of hand lettering, like from start to the most complex hand lettering process. By start, I mean the alphabets, the letters, individual letters in the alphabet. Like I teach you how to go over each of the letters of the alphabet, upper cases, lower cases. So that's it. And from there, we'll go forming your words and then start with your composition and such, and then also embellishments and shadowing and other styles that you need to learn to start to kick off your hand lettering journey. And then, of course, after that, we have the business modules, which I have expanded this year. So last year, I have about 8 modules on the business side, but they are not as expanded as this time around. So I have compressed it to 5 modules, but they are in depth. So it's going to be like a big course this time around. So it's not just hand lettering and then a portion of business. So it's going to be a hand lettering and then a full-blown business course module.
So I remember when you first launched this course, and I love that you're saying like now it's going to be really in depth, because I remember the first time you launched it and I got it and I looked at the like modules of it and I was like, this is so much. Like this is so much. It's literally like from never having done any lettering before to doing it as a business, like all in one package. And I like could not believe how much you put into that course. So now the fact that you're saying there's going to be even more is like,
it's going to be even more, even more. So I am tired of recording already, but the presentations are going to be the same. It's still presentations because I don't have, what do you call that? The teleprompter. It's hard to record without a teleprompter. So we're not probably going to do that path. I'm not going to be Marie Forleo this time around. So it's all going to be Amy Porterfield style. So all presentation, but it's good. It's good. It's really good.
I mean, I have a lot of people on this show and we talk about a lot of people's online courses and everything, but I remember when you and I met in the Philippines a couple of years ago, and you were talking about starting to record your course and like how deep you were getting in it and how you know, serious you were about it and everything. And it's rare that people get that serious about filming their online courses. So for anybody who's listening and is wondering if Mye's course is worth it, if you want to learn hand lettering, it is worth it.
I always try to look at the brighter side as well. Like every course you take, you're going to learn something, even if it's just one thing. That one thing could change your life or the trajectory of your business or your freelance career, whatever. So just focus on that one particular thing that you're going to learn in every person you're going to learn from, every course that you take, everything, even free courses. So take that one thing and it will change your life and your business.
I love that. And people, I'm sure, just learned one thing from that curve lettering lesson, even though it's a free lesson. And obviously I think that's like going to show them how good the rest of your course would be. So thank you so much for giving us that and for impromptu deciding to give us this retired freebie of yours. Super excited to get that to people. And Kate, I'm going to link to your course and your website and the freebie and everything down below, but where's the best place for people to find you other than that?
Yes, they can find me at myedeleon.com. That's MYEDELEON.com, or at Instagram at Mye De Leon.
Perfect.
That's where I am always.
Same. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you again so much, Mye, for coming on again. And reminder to everybody to go watch the other video with Mye too, once you're finished this one. But I'm sure we'll have to do like a recording number 3 someday too.
I hope so. I always love being here because, you know, we know each other personally. I almost know some of your audience. I have some of your audience in my course as well and in my coaching program. So it's like our community has, you know, intertwined in some way. So it's good. It's a good feeling. Like it's a collaboration of some sort, but so much better. Yes, the best kind of collaboration. Okay, well, I'll let you go. Stay safe over there in the Philippines. I don't know what the situation is like compared to here, but it's all crazy. You too. Stay safe. And thank you so much for having me.